Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome. My name is Lorne Risley, host of the Halcyon Show. How the hell are you doing? But on this occasion, I am not alone. No siree, Bob. I've got myself a co-host for this series. And ladies and gentlemen, before we get into anything else, I would like him to take a moment to introduce himself, because I will do him a disservice otherwise.
It's like a battle rap move when you take your hood down, or I should take it off, really. Like, do you know what I mean? It's your boy Crash, aka Welsh Gunner, the last samurai in Wales for battle rap, rapper, top man, to be honest, top man. Hello, Lorne. How are you, my friend?
I'm good. Some technical difficulties that we will remedy on the next occasion. You can probably notice by the fact that the stream is jarry as fuck. That's all on me. I apologize. I grew impatient, and I've been making copious amounts of notes in relation to this tournament, and I just wanted to get this on record. Come Monday next week at 9 p.m, we will be going live again after the next episode. However, we will see significant improvements on both sides, but I don't think there's any reason to waste any time. The reason we are here, just to set the table for everyone at home, is Premier Battles put effectively their entire calendar on hold in mid-June, July of last year, and announced that they were embarking on a radical new concept, the Where Winning Matters tournament. And it's culminated in the first episode that aired on Sunday. And the big question that I want to hear from you is, did they deliver on the promises that they made back in the middle of last year? And if so, what met or exceeded your expectations?
Were you talking to me then? Were you talking? Sorry. You know the bars that I found? You know what? I'm gonna close my laptop, bro. You know the bars that I found? Yeah, I was because you were doing your thing. I was like, okay, and then I read a bar and I was like, yo, when did I write that? But then I looked at you, and you had paused, and I was like, ooh, dramatic effect. And then it went on for too long. And I was like, you mashed this up, Crash. You had one job. I apologize.
Oh my god, that's so funny. That's okay, because ladies and gentlemen, this is gonna be one where you're gonna have to bear with us. We're working out technical difficulties, all this other stuff, including but not limited to how I throw to my co-host to let him know I'm talking to him, not you, the audience, because I'm a fucking idiot and I don't have enough experience in this. Crash, my friend, the potential of the Premier Battles tournament. When it was announced, what were you thinking? And now that it's finally here, how do you feel about it?
You know what? I find it very exciting. Prem do stuff differently from the teams to, like, do you know what I mean? Try and clash with. So when they said they were gonna reformat UK battle rap as someone who's been a part of UK battle rap, it's always cool to see a new way of playing a different game. Do you know what I mean? And it's like the battle rap is always gonna be 1v1, 2v2s, but what else can you do it? And I think they did pretty well, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie. I had high hopes for them. I know their product. They just made a film, The Pit. Like, do you know what I mean? I don't think it's been released yet, but like, production experience travels. Do you know what I mean? So I had high hopes for it. I'm not gonna lie though. Over the Christmas period, I haven't seen the brackets, so I don't know who's in what team. But I like that because it kind of gives that element of what every week. It's new to me as well. I don't know who's facing who. And I'll pick it up with the crowd.
No, I completely agree on that point. I think one of the things that the tournament is aiming to do, and it obviously remains to be seen whether or not it can and will, is to kind of branch outside of the established Premier Battles and even battle rap audience in the UK to try and find a home in the hearts and minds of people that don't normally follow battle rap. And part of that, I think, is this idea we need to get away from a reputation leading to wanting to watch a battle. It's more, we're here to see Premier Battles. We're here to see the show that they're putting on. We're here to see the cast of characters that they're putting in front of us. And are we entertained by that, yes or no, by the battles? I think there are some other things that I want to talk about in this episode that I think they've incorporated and introduced that I think lend themselves to that. But I guess, what were your first impressions of the show then? Having sat there and sort of because obviously it's been a few days since it aired and you've rewatched a few of the battles. What's your general impression of this versus what is a typical Premier Battles presentation? Like, when you see a battle drop and you see it from beginning to end, we know the format by now. Intro, yo, it's Premier Battles, everyone in the house, and then we cut to the battles, and then we maybe have a judging segment, and then we're done. Compared to this, which is much more like maybe a more traditional television format, but updated to incorporate battle rap. What are your impressions, or what were your takeaways from it?
I liked it. You know, when you watch something and from the jump, you're like, oh, if this is the beginning, yeah, this is I can rock with this. Do you know what I mean? And I think you said it perfectly then. It's like when I watch battles now, I've watched so many battles that I usually find myself skipping, skip. Bun your sponsors, bun your intro. I know who these men are. Let's just get to the bars. But this was a new, fun way. I watched it from beginning to end live. I'm not gonna lie, I just had it on full screen. I wasn't commenting on nothing. I just had it on full screen, like I was watching the Beast Games. Do you know what I mean? Like I was watching TV. It was class. I feel like they all held it down really well. Even the bit in the middle, which we can get to later, about like the card pulling. I'm not a wrestling fan, but I know what whatnot is, which is hilarious. But it was fun, like, do you know what I mean? But that's the time to go get some more snacks, re-up. Like you would, it's an advert. Like if you want to watch it, you can watch it. You don't have to. Do you know what I mean? How did you feel about it?
Yeah, they did. They labeled that as an intermission, which I thought was interesting at first. I'm like, wait, an intermission, and then they cut to that. So that segment then made a degree of sense. My impressions of it, right? So I have bullet points to this effect, but I mean, I'll give you my first bullet point, because I have a reputation, earned, by the way, of being a little negative so-and-so on this here, internet sphere. My first bullet point, ladies and gentlemen, is a very impressive debut edition that delivered on the hype and aspirations of the promotion. That's not a lie. That's the first note that I made on my little phony wone, because I effectively, and I've said this before, I effectively made this as a pitch back in May of last year. I said, battle rap needs appointment television, in effect. It needs something to gravitate people that don't normally follow battle rap, who would follow battle rap, to a place every single week or every single month where they know they can get their fix, even if they're dipping in or dipping out, or if they're more hardcore and they want to sit through the whole thing, right? We need a studio format, segments. We need to be able to throw to things. We need to be able to keep a pace of show, but kind of introduce everyone with the rub. And I cannot speak highly enough of the fact that they have gone with a concept that's very similar to that, and they have executed it to near perfection. I have to be brutally honest by that. I've got lots of tiny little things that I noticed, but on the whole, and I mean this with all sincerity, they have fucking nailed this concept brilliantly.
I agree. It's cold. I want, what's mad? Like, when it finishes, and you're like, I want episode 2 now. I know you've got episode 2 there, Prem. Like, you know what I mean? I know you got it there, which is annoying. But it's good. And as someone, I don't really watch battles as much as I used to. The reason I got into it, you know what I mean? So it's nice to watch it in a completely different environment. And from like someone who's worked behind the scenes in battle leagues, it looks very productive. Like you can get a lot of battles in one day, and you've got you know what I mean? So I rate them. I got to rate it for that.
Absolutely. The fact that one of the things that I noticed straight off the bat, right? Because not to shatter the fourth wall or kayfabe or anything, the filming for these took place a little while ago. All of the battlers are under embargo, and they've all been great in the sense of I've spoken to a few of them and said, how are you feeling about it? They have given me fucking nothing, ladies and gentlemen. They have committed to the prospects of you'll find out live when it drops. And that's great, because then what you've seen is from the jump, they introduce the show like you're watching it live on the night. And they've timed it out as such. So when you sit down to watch it on a Sunday, instantly you feel rewarded for catching a show live. And I like that. I really, really like the fact that I know what I'm getting when I sit down to watch it. I really like the fact that I'm in for it for an hour and a half. I can sit down and commit. But as you've said, they've also introduced segments where, hey man, we all get it. If you want to get up and grab yourself a drink or whatever, you can pause it, and it's a great formatting choice. I really do think that. And right off the bat, my first note, of course, is the introduction of one Bobby Rex as your sort of MC, your host, your guide throughout the course of this. What did you... that was just what... I'll come back to that. But what did you notice? What were some of the things that you picked up and you're like, that's cool that they're doing that, or that's interesting. I hadn't seen that they were going to go with something like that. What were some of the things you noticed about the presentation?
I think it was the overall aesthetic of it. It had a good look. It just looked clean. It looked like time and effort had been put into. Like, don't get me wrong, I get with other battles it's like that, but keep it this look throughout. It just looked professional. Let's use that word. Looked very professional, and like it didn't feel like it was just. I've been to some events where it's just cameramen. Do you know what I mean? Or it's one guy, but this felt like a whole production. It felt different, and to be honest, it could be intimidating for the battlers if you didn't go first. Because if you're looking for like a normal battle, I feel like they've upped it. Do you know what I mean? You don't want to be the one on the stream that people talk negatively about. You know what I mean? You've let the side down a lot more than just, oh, it's just another battle. It's all right. I'll just go on the channel. You're part of the show now.
No, totally. And I think the interesting thing about this, especially from the fact that they've got some of this pre-recorded and then they've recorded some of it later and they're going to be doing some of it closer to the time, is the whole point that Briggsy was making in the announcement stream that he did with Ghast and with Trubs and with Stro, where he was talking about the need for narratives. He was talking about this notion that we need to get away from just names. We need to start building not only battlers, because of course you're always looking for the next big talent, but you need to give people reasons to watch outside of the sphere. And the easiest way you do that is what you've seen some of the battlers start to do with their shorts content. Sean Craig comes to mind. Like, English geezer battler battles so-and-so, right? And he's sharing his content and it's getting picked up. Zen, I think, is another one that's had a lot of success. Lefty has had a lot of success. Luna's starting to get picked up by people, but not as Lefty does this or Luna does this. It's Battle Rapper does this, right? And as a result of that, it's then directing it back. And again, one of the things that I liked about the show was the segments where they were in studio. Now, these things have Shotty Horror, Bobby Rex, and Stro. Now, if you need a ringing endorsement for 3 people in the UK battle rap scene to say you did good, you need to improve, or you had a moment, or whatever, it's those 3. Tell me, what were your impressions of those? Because that was a running theme throughout the show. They had maybe 7 or 8 segments where they were cutting to those guys in studio for punditry, for analysis, a bit of a preview. What did you make of their dynamic?
Them guys, they're friends, innit? They're the manny lot, like they're friends. So you need good chemistry on cam, like, do you know what I mean? And they've got it natural. They'd obviously, I don't know how much of it was scripted. I'm guessing there was some, when I was watching it, I'm guessing there was some script to follow, but I don't know how much of it was scripted. But it flowed so well, and they all bounced off each other well, pause. But they all like, they just get on, like, do you know what I mean? It wasn't like too newsy. It was just like they were discussing the battles, and like you said, they all have knowledge in this game, from Stro to Bobby Rex. And I enjoyed Bobby Rex's hosting. I thought it was like, he wasn't like A1 perfect, but who is? But he played the role well, if that makes sense. Like, do you know what I mean? He's a good host. He has that good energy with him when he's talking to us and to the others.
I messaged him this privately, and I don't mind sharing it with you, but so he had a moment at the beginning of the show where he did his intro, right? And he turned to Shotty, and Shotty was like, that intro was mint, man. That was a banging intro. And he goes, cheers, my first hosting gig. His face lit up. Like, mate, I just fucking nailed that, didn't I? Back of the net. I was so happy for him. But yeah, you're right. Like, he brings an interesting dichotomy to those 3, because those 3 is like the talking heads, the pundits, as you were, or as the analyst or whatever it is, like you'd see on sports shows. Number 1, talk about legitimacy from 3 guys who have been there, done it, had the t-shirt, and from young as well. Like, they've been around it forever. So they've seen the arcs of so many different people, and they're in a prime position to be able to give their respective opinions. You've got Stro, who I think is still everyone's big brother. He's the one who's looking out for everyone. He's trying to offer guidance and a kick up the ass and a pat on the back when it's needed. You've got Bobby in the middle, who is critical, but I always look at it like he's giving constructive criticism. He's never trying to be negative to hurt anyone's feelings. He's like, no, that could be better. This should be better. You should be doing this. And then you've got Shotty, who's just cool hand Luke. He's just offering his 2 cents whenever he's asked, but otherwise he's that detached, somewhat mysterious figure that, especially if you're not in the battle rap scene, you're going to gravitate towards him because you're like, this guy, who is this guy about? And the 3 of them together, it's a great dynamic, but as far as the scripting of it, I don't think much of that is scripted. I think a lot of it is just Bobby was throwing it to them and saying, I think this, but what do you think? He injects and then he kind of lets them run with it for a moment.
No, yeah, I'm not saying their opinions were scripted. What I meant was scripted was like there was little things in there, like the references back to last time, and just, do you know what I mean? Coming up next, that we've got, and then like I like when the brackets break down. Like, I don't even like football, but when the brackets break down, I was like, ooh, that's what looks professional. I've never seen battle rap like this. It's like the first time you play a VR or something. Like I've gamed before, but I've never gamed like this. Do you know what I mean? I liked it. I enjoyed it.
Interesting. I think, I'm not 100% sure, but AW Football Club, that might be Stro in the chat, by the way. So zero scripting apart from the segue. So there you go. So the dynamic in the chemistry on screen is 100% on point. Also, Stro, you're cheating. We said we'd talk about this next week. We said we'd go through all 94 points individually. No cheat. You're not allowed to watch. Go away, Stro. Hi, welcome. Thank you for joining us, by the way.
Well, go on, Stro. Stro's cool. Stro's cool.
I'm just saying, like, it's yeah, there it is, there he is, he's saying it's, of course it is. I appreciate you joining us. And speaking of Stro, right, again, what I'm saying about the show in general, because of course we will talk about the battles in a second, but that was the thing that I think they injected and they lent on the most and paid off the most. I think Bobby, I know what you're saying, but I think Bobby gave an MVP performance. I wasn't expecting it. I thought he delivered on the passion. He was unadulteratedly enthusiastic, but also critical in the moments that mattered. Stro was there offering the narrative element that I think was missing the whole time. He was giving people reasons to care about individual battles, battlers within individual battles, and then he got shot just being objective. Those three balancing each individual battle before and after, I thought really helped give a good ebb and flow to the show. But like, what were some of the moments for you then that stood out that you were like, right, thinking back, if I had to rewatch it again, I'd be looking forward to this moment? Is it the battles, or were there some of the things in the show that they incorporated that you're thinking, oh, I'm looking forward to seeing that next week too?
The tables again. You know what? I cheated. Remember I said I was watching the battles earlier? Got to the end of the video and it showed the brackets, and I realized there's some spoilers in them brackets, which I don't know if it was a mistake in production. I don't know if I'm baiting it out, but I was excited to see, because I could see some W's and some wins on there. I'm like, I don't understand. Maybe it's no shows. Maybe I've got it wrong. Who knows? It's like Stranger Things, like conspiracies. But no, the battles were cold. I like the fact that I knew how many battles there were. Do you know what I mean? And I don't know. I'm just gonna watch the whole show again, to be honest. I like the format. It's a brand new format. I would like to see consistency, which I feel like they have. I just want to see where it goes and what they've got new to surprise us. So,
a question for you, because you're the battler and I'm the filthy weeb. With regards to the execution of the battles themselves, the one thing I want to talk about before we actually come to the battles and the Stro's pointed out that there were a couple of people that didn't attend the recording on the day, and that's why there's points allocated.
Okay.
Don't worry, no spoilers, ladies and gentlemen. No spoilers. Everyone's
no
under
spoilers.
embargo. No one's releasing anything, despite me asking. Don't you worry. I tried to get juicy scoops, but no one would give me them, Crash. No one would give me the scoops. But back to my point. The point I was making was the judging. Oh, well, I can't help it. I've got to be the guy in the know. But, like, the judging seemed to favour punches. They seem to keep referencing that throughout the course of the show. It seemed to be, we want to see condensed content. We want to see guys really going for it and utilising every second of their 60 seconds to the maximum of their ability. And we saw guys in some of the battles not really do that. They sort of either got caught out by the time, or maybe they meandered a little bit and then had to go over. What do you make of the 60-second rounds in relation to then what you saw in the battles? Do you think it's a good incorporation to keep it short? Do you think some of the guys need to improve, or do you think that on the whole they did well?
So 60-second battles themselves are quite difficult. You don't have much time to open up, which I did see some battles do. Like, you don't really have time for an intro. You've got to start punching back to back. You only got 60 seconds. If you do an intro that's 15 seconds, you now have 45 seconds to make up for that lost time. I feel like I like it, and battlers are going to have to learn to adapt to it, because the thing that I like, I don't know what I should do. Like, when it comes to 60 seconds and it goes overtime, do I kind of disregard everything from this point? Do you know what I mean? If you're 2 bars into a 4-bar setup, and I get it, it's hard to stop battlers when they're mid-flow. You don't want to ruin a reaction. Do you know what I mean? But the 60 seconds is 60 seconds. Do you know what I mean? But the grace period, then what do I do with the grace period? Do I take that into account? When I don't know, but I don't know. I couldn't do a 60-second battle. That's too mad to. But
you saw it. Sorry to jump in, but you saw it happen in I think it was the Ghast buff battle in particular, where both of them had moments. It was definitely one Bobby was hosting, because Bobby was like, "I'm really sorry, but I've got Briggsy here telling me I've got to cut him out. I've got to cut."
Like,
and he was,
well, that's the thing. Like, you don't know when you cut it. Like, do you know what I mean?
Well, that's the thing is, when you saw him cut it versus when you saw them go. Like, I think the worst I saw was someone went over by 20 seconds. But I don't know what to do with that either. Do you go, 20 seconds is a long time? Or do you go, yeah, but at least I got to hear him say what he wanted to say, and that meant for a more... Because again, as a fan, I want to hear bars, man. I want to hear the material. I don't want to miss out on anything.
No, I hear it. Like you said, with the judging, though, judging's always going to be a difficult... we don't have a panelist, like, we don't have a HR of judges that we can say, right, these guys... they decide everything. Do you know what I mean? It's always who's available, may it be in the building, online. So, like, yeah, this week, it'll be punches. Next week, we don't know who the judges are. I don't know if they're consistent throughout the whole thing. Could be completely different people that, like, I don't know, mum jokes. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. But
I will say you got all of that in that, by the way. You got a real assortment in the battles in terms of angles, execution, jokes, punches, more visceral style from some of the guys. But the idea of a battle rap HR to say, right, we've got it on file that you went over by 17 seconds. So, we're
going to deduct 2 points for that.
Yeah, we're going to have to put you on a performance pip, and obviously additional infractions may lead to I don't know what would be I don't know what a punishment would be in that situation. Maybe a points deduction, I guess.
You may not have a bottle of water in your next battle. That's a battle rapper's secret weapon. That is a bottle of water. Choking, grab the water. Yeah, need to let a reaction die, grab the water. Need to think of your next spot, grab the water. It's a weapon in battle rap.
That's amazing. So let me refer to my notes again, because one of my other notes is how overall more polished and thought out show. Editing's on point. I love the graphics, but I know this is the editor and producer in me. One of the things that I harp on is about I don't want anything interfering with my experience as a viewer. They've designed the graphics in such a way that they're always there, they're always present, they're always directing you, but they never felt like they were interviewing with the broadcast. And like I say, it felt like a tight show. It felt like things had been thought out in a way, with the only exception, and the only exception I would have with this is something that you've highlighted earlier, which is, but I get it, we all got bills to pay, was the segment in the middle, which is the intermission where they were talking about the wrestling card thing. But I felt like they gave enough notice of it, and they signposted it in a way that made it feel like, hey, listen, man, we get it. This is the intermission. You can go do your thing, go grab yourself a tea and come and sit back. But then they also had Cammy and Briggsy kind of bouncing off each other, having fun with it. There are worse ways to do an advertising segment, I felt like. It was a nice addition to something that otherwise could have been quite monotonous, I felt.
To be honest, when they first said about the intermission, I've watched shows online before, like Johnny Battle Rap shows, and it's usually just battle rappers music and then like a slideshow or something, like, do you know what I mean? So it was good just to see two guys, Cammy and Briggsy, are entertaining people in themselves, and together they did work well. They look like brother and sister. I'm not going to say which one's the brother, which one's the sister. That's for them to argue it out. But like it was good. Like, do you know what I mean? Like Cammy's there, all chuffed, pulling cards. Briggsy's looking up for him and all. Like it was good. I enjoyed it. I didn't watch all of it. That was when I went to, like, do you know what I mean, have a smoke or go grab a drink and that. Do you know what I mean? Like looking in the room, is it in? I'm not a wrestling fan. But if they were pulling, like, I don't know, different cards, say Pokemon, Dragon Ball Z, I'm gonna watch that. I'm gonna watch.
But that alludes to the fact that, by the way, my favourite bar of the oh my god. Right, you and Stro, stop trying to get me in trouble by picking on. I know it's like a thing, but I'm trying to be positive here, lads. I really am trying. It was eerie, though, wasn't it? It looked like one had evolved into the... Anyways, I'm not saying anything. My question for you, because Caveman made a bar in there that made me laugh, because you made the wrestling analogy, and it was just, I love the wrestling analogy, because he just does not care about wrestling, and he said something wrestling, and it popped the room. Great ironic bar. Yeah. But the question I
related to it. It was relatable as hell. I loved it.
He's not wrong. It's like it makes perfect sense. I loved it. But like, what was the moment of the show for you? What's the moment that you think, right, episode 1, this is the thing I think back to the most? Because that's important. It's gonna be. There's gonna need to be moments over the course of this series that stand out, that are gonna make you go, actually, this is really fun. I want to share this with someone. I want to show this to someone. Because again, this does not work unless we start including people outside of the sphere. What was a moment that stood out for you?
Discovering Spirit, to be honest, bro. His whole style was cold, and I'm probably gonna do this every episode, but I want to see him in the final. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is just the beginner stage. When it like a tournament gets heated, it's like semi-final. Do you know what I mean? That's when people start sweating. I'm not at the beginning no more. I've killed people off. The final's there. So I want to see them in that mode. But yeah, I think Spirit was my favorite battler of the day. I don't know if I spoiled that, and we're doing that segment later. But yeah, he was just cold. I enjoyed his bars. And yeah, I want to see that table full up. Man. I want to see where we are in a couple of weeks, man.
I suppose we should get to the battles now. I've been waffling at you for nearly half an hour, and we've not even talked about the battles yet. So I suppose we should get into it.
Hey, when your production's that good, we're going to speak on it. Like, do you know what I'm saying?
But that's what I figured, that basically it's going to be recurring from now. All of the things that we've seen in this one are largely going to be the same. I have notes about tiny things that I noticed in the edit, little moments here and there. Some of the voiceovers were cut and some of the edits are cut. There's also a fantastic thing I noticed, and I don't know if you noticed it. So in the segment where Briggsy and Cammy are doing the cards, right? I don't know if this was intentional or just the accident of accidents. You see the cameraman in a mirror position, so it's like an ominous presence in the corner of the room the entire segment, and I'm sitting there going, does he know he's on camera?
I noticed that, but yeah,
it just made me laugh. But the thing is, all of that stuff I expect to either improve or stay largely consistent. So there's no reason to linger on those things,
man. You know what I mean? Got getting where you fit in. Like, yeah, he wanted some camera time too.
If we're paid for the moment on camera, I don't blame him.
Job. He knew what he was doing.
I love it. It's good. We've got to fight for camera time sometime. I get it. But like, I think the thing that I took away most before we get into the battles is this: they have stepped up in every conceivable way. They have planned this to an almost ridiculous length, and I can forgive a few editing oversights here or there, or a few creative choices here or there, because the execution overall is pretty much exactly what I wanted. So as a fan, I feel spoiled that every week now on Sunday, I know that I get to tune in and see it. And again, I know it's the battles themselves are pre-recorded, but I don't care. I get to see a live show that's been almost tailor-made for fans like me, that I can then share with other people and say, hey, listen, man, if you think this short was funny that you shared with me on Instagram, tune in on Sunday. You're going to see some shit, and you're going to like it, and you're going to be a fan going forward. Do you know what I mean?
No, of course. Like, again, A1 perfect stream, no niggles. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like whenever you watch it, again, I keep going back to TV because that's how much it reminds me of TV. It's like the first series, it's okay. We love it for the series. Then the second series, you notice that the title's different. You know what I mean? They fixed up. Everything's color graded a little bit. Normalized. It's just, let's just go with it, innit? Everyone starts somewhere. And it was a great start.
Okay, well, let's avoid it no longer. Let's get into the battles themselves. The reason you're here, the reason that my guest today is here, because he is the expert. I am the neophyte when it comes to these. I can only look at a battle and say, I like this one, I didn't like this one, I like this battler, but this guy here, he actually knows what he's talking about. So
I just got an opinion, man. You know what I mean, man? I just got an opinion, man.
I've critiqued one of your battles, my friend, and I thought you gave one of the competitors in the tournament a really good run for his money. So if anyone's going to tell me I'm full of shit with one of my opinions this evening, then it's going to be you. But without further ado, Ghast Buff versus Slester is the first battle on the card. I had this one going to Ghast, But it was an interesting one in the room by the looks of things. What did you make of it?
Okay, so like literally 5 minutes before the stream, I got a message off Ghast that went, "Oh, the stream, he was promoting the stream," and I was like, "Good, always enjoy a Ghast battle." He was like, "Pre-warning, I'm not very good in this battle." Like it was an off day. I can't remember what it was. It might have been I can't remember what it was. Right? It might have been cold or something. And then I was like, "Oh, you know them? Oh no, not Ghast. Like that's a humble. I fucked up, innit? I messed up." And then I knew Slester is good. Slester, I always expect a good showing from Slester, and I don't think he's one to sleep on. So then when I'm watching the battle now, I'm like, "Ghast, man, you're a liar, bro. You're such a liar, bro. Like, you're so humble." I've said to you before, you're so humble. Like, it vexes me. Like, but overall, yeah, I think I gave it 3-0 to Ghast. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay.
I gave it 3-0 to Ghast. Not like a body. I just think I've seen better Celesters, and I don't think Slester used his time well. That's what I think it came down to.
Interesting, because I think they highlighted that in the post battle wrap up, where they sort of highlighted, because I think I had it in there was either the first or second round. Slester was talking about Ghast's head, and he spent 20 seconds on it, which was mad, because you go, like, it wasn't going anywhere with it. Like, it's one thing if you're just being silly. Like the debate that's been raging since I saw the show is, what is battle rap really about? And one line that was injected to me was, make your opponent look like a dickhead. Anything at your disposal to make him look worse than you, and win the audience over to your side over him. Even if his stuff is fire, I need to be the one that they're rooting for, is fair game, right? And I think Slester was leaning a little bit more on some of the hijinks, some of the stuff, and Ghast was going back to his stuff where he's very clever and he's very nuanced, and he can be, he's kind of a, I'm trying to think of an analogy, but he's so unexpectedly good. Like, he's so diminutive and so nice, and yet when he steps in the ring, he can hit you with some stuff, and you're like, fuck, Ghast, where did that come from, young man? So it was that kind of battle where, stylistically, there's not much between the two of them in terms of commonality, but in terms of execution, they both had their moments that I know that they're both going to look back on and go, should have done that better. So it felt like that kind of battle where both of them will look back on it as a bit of a learning experience. You know what I mean?
I know it wasn't the best showing from both of them, but again, 1 minute is 1 minute. It's hard to have your best showing in a minute, but you both got things to work on. And like you said, they can look back, and for the next battle, hopefully they know how quick a minute feels like. Do you know what I mean? In the room.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, I know this is a weird thing, right? But I've committed to sending fewer voice notes this year. The reason for that is because when you get a voice note and you then go, wow, that's going to take me in real time 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, right? I have to realize that I'm doing that to people, right? Just record yourself for a minute and realize how little a time that is to say something. And then realize these guys are trying to condense very complicated things down and then make them rhyme in a cohesive way. And you realize that the challenge at hand, it is not an easy task to go, right, think of a concept, think of a way to execute it. Now half the time it takes you to get there. And both of these guys, I think, they prefer to take their time to work the crowd, to lean into an angle, to really emphasize what they're saying. And it is a thing where they're both going to have to learn to tighten things up, for sure. 100%.
I think Ghast says to Slester as well. He said you do
Your
the theatrical pauses.
Yeah.
And obviously, I think you're right then, because Ghast is also someone that I can watch for a 2-3 minute round, and I know he's going to fill that in with the entertainment, with the bars, with the joke. Same as Slester. Even though he's more jokey and he's got a few bars, I know he knows how to deliver that entertainment. With 1 minute, again, it all gets scrapped. And even with the rebuttal of, like, he's got a big head, the reason I didn't really like that is, I don't know why, I got this feeling that he might have said it before the battle, because I think he said it to Briggsy or something like that, or Stro, or whoever was hosting, I can't remember which one. But he said it to them, like, as in a remember this. And it's like,
yeah,
that'll work for the host, but that's not gonna work for the audience who don't really get it. Otherwise, to me at home, it was just like you've got a big head, and it's like you laugh more at your own joke,
Yeah.
and you've wasted a lot of time. I tell you what, I'm clock watching a lot of these battles as well. I found myself having the clock there and being like, okay, he's done 2 punches and there's 25 seconds gone. What are you gonna do now then? Like, you know what I mean? I like it. It's cool. It's cool. But yeah, better showings from both next time, I hope to see.
No, I agree. I mean, I've got some notes on some of the stuff. I mean, Ghast had a very noticeable stumble, not because it was big, but because of his reaction to it, because I think he knew, like, oh, fuck, I'm on the clock. Right, can't afford to stumble. It shows the pressure these guys, even someone as experienced as Ghast and Slester, are under. And I appreciate the fact that they're trying to put on showings. But then you've got, so he's got his quote tweet line, the wrestling ref down longer than a wrestling ref. I like that. Useless or useless, you know, some really, really clever stuff. But then, like I say, Slester responds with a 15-second rebuttal saying that he's got a big head and he's trying to make the rebuttal work. And then he goes into a lot of, you look like the kind of guy stuff. And then I think he went over by about 10, 15 seconds, something like that. Ghast Buff comes back with, when they say violence isn't the answer, I change the question. For me, that's the line of the battle, man. That was a great line.
Yeah, that's my line of the battle, that one. I think I've got a line in every battle, but that one there, crazy, bro.
It's good to have that one quote, that one line in your battle, I think, especially in this format where you're like, right, when they clip this up, this is the moment I want them to clip up and focus on it. I mean, talk me through something like that. Talk me through, because I bet you he knew that was something that people were going to fixate on. When you write something and perform something, and you're like, right, I really like this line. I need it to kill. How do you approach something like that, knowing you've got an expectation on the line?
The heads and tails moment, bro. Sometimes I've written lines that, or like you show someone that you know it's a fire line, and then you show someone and they confirm it and they're like, that one there, that's the one. But do you know what? I'm gonna say truthfully, some lines that I've had and I've like, I'll put that in there just to build it up. They get bigger reactions than some of the lines that and it can actually throw you off from where you think, right, this is my big punch, and you deliver it. And you might give yourself, because you've been like, you know what I mean, you've been shadow traded, like, you know what I mean, you give yourself a little, and it's like, no, they want the next one, bro. And you're like, oh, okay, I didn't think it'd be that quick. That's why I say it's a coin flip. Do you know what I mean? It's like you can't bet on any bar to hit. Like you said, the judges went more punches, so you don't know what judge, if it is judged, you don't know what kind of room you're gonna get. You don't know who's in the room. You don't know if there's people that like, I don't know, gun bars. You don't know if there's people that like jokes more. You don't know who's brought their friends, like. So it's always a gamble, but sometimes when you've got one of them, it's one of them, isn't it?
Well, I feel like the fact that the room is mitigated, it helps. It helps the audience just kind of react to the stuff in the moment. Like, again, I know that there are still guys in the room, and you're always going to play. And in fact, I think in this battle in particular, Slester was playing to the room a little bit more than I would have liked. I would have liked him to direct more of his stuff either to his opponent, which you saw, like B.Ramble, for example, I thought was laser focused on Hamill, and Hamill was pretty focused on B.Ramble throughout the course of the battle, but that made it a better backwards and forwards. Whereas Slester, I felt like he was almost playing to the gantry a little bit too much for my liking, as opposed to going in as an opponent or zoning in on the audience, because that's who you're really supposed to be playing to in this tournament. The whole concept, Briggsy said this from the jump, is your profile doesn't matter. Your CV doesn't matter. It's this tournament that matters. It's what you say in the 60 seconds, and you need to make it as impactful as possible. So while I agree that I want to see as much content as possible, substantive content, I do understand that they've kind of set it up from the jump. Like, no, we want to see punches. We want to see plenty of them. We don't want to see you wasting your time. Stro in the chat is saying, how often do you see someone with 90-second rounds use 30 seconds with filler and gaps? The whole point is to try and cut out all of that meandering.
I agree.
And it's good. I like it. I mean, moving on to Ghast, he ends around with Mohawk Tour.
I like that. That was like one of them offhand, like, ends of the battle. Goddamn.
That's a timely reference there, Ghast. The kids in 5 years are going to love it. Absolutely wonderful. Slester comes back in the second round with dad jokes. This is the first instance, actually, we see Bobby cutting the battle short due to time. I actually gave that one to Slester because of the reaction. Like, he just seemed to get more of a reaction from the crowd in that moment. And I wonder if that was so there was a round where he gave Ghast the old finger poke, the old nose.
Oh,
flick, right?
so do you know what? That was class. So it's like, it was like his dad or something, wasn't it? It was like
something like that. Something like that. And I know I felt the room turn in the moment. But the question I have for you is, again, like especially from a battler's perspective, where you're prepping and prepping, and the idea that someone could come in with something people have been using since year 3 and undermine you completely in a moment that you cannot prep for. How much validity should that have in a battle rap? Should it carry, bro. Or should it be, bro. We're here to battle. Like, what are you doing? Like, giving me what's your take?
Nah, it's like, bro, it's like how was I gonna say? I was gonna say then. It's like you said. It's boys will be boys kind of funny humor, and it's like I've seen people go like give out a heartfelt round against their opponent, and the opponents turn around and gone, yeah, but your shoes are fucked, mate. And then everyone just burst out laughing, and it like totally nullified that round. You know what I mean? It's the quick humor of it. It's a move. It's a style. You can have punches, but comedy is also a move set, which is a good comedy as well, entertainment, which to have the whole, like, that's like you said, it's school. And what did we say? The objective of battle rap is to make your opponent look like a dickhead. And that's what it does in the moment. Like, you can say the most intricate shit in the world, that's amazing, but you still looked at your top and I flicked your nose. You know what I mean? Like,
ridiculous, absolutely amazing. And then what? Where are we? We've got to. So we got. So that was Slester went on a bit of a run there, and then Ghast flips it by referencing the no physical contact in the contract to flip the finger poke, which I thought that was quite good. He references and then he goes on. There's Soul. And then there's a mile, and then there's everyone else in Scotland, and then there's you. What else has he got?
Man.
And then Bobby calls time again. So that was the second instance of Bobby calling time. So how did you feel about that when that happened? So those two instances where he's cut him, was it like, oh no, man, come on, like, nah, let him finish, or was it like, lads, you need to mind your time?
You know what? It's kind of like, because it's episode 1, it's kind of like, I get it. It's their first time doing it as well, so they probably in the brief was like, no, 1 minute, cut. I don't care, cut. But then when you're in the moment, and like, you kind of, the host, want to see it as well. You're like, go on, I'll give you all grace. And then it goes over too much, and it's like, no, come on. Like, when you feel like they're getting into another 4-bar setup, and it's like, no, right, come on, lads. But it's just gonna kind of be like, how do you cut them off? At that time, does the video stop rolling? Like, do you know what I mean? You're like, nope, that's it.
I think they did the best with the circumstances. Even I think this is hilarious, actually, because this only really happened in this battle. But then, third round for Slester, he finishes his bar from the second round because he's just like, nah, it's too good. I need to get it out. That's amazing. Like, right, fuck my third round for a second. I've got to finish my second because it was fire.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's great. That's hilarious. But I ended up giving it 2-1 to Ghast in the end. I thought, relatively speaking, you could make the argument maybe for a 3-0 if a gentleman's a guess, but I just felt like Slester gave a good enough performance to justify a round. I feel like Ghast's writing and his impeccable delivery once again won the day. What was your impression of the battle overall?
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you there. I think Ghast's writing is what carried him through. Like I said, it wasn't the best showing, but it was a minute. I get it. We've seen better Ghast. I want to see better Ghast next time. But yeah, the only memorable moment from Slester that I remember is the t-shirt flicking. And that was because it was a silly little funny moment where it's like, gotcha. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I just had Ghast taking all 3 of the rounds cleanly. I think he used his time better, like I said before.
Oh my gosh.
And yeah, my preference was just Ghast.
Ghast is in the... Ghast, welcome, my friend. It's good to see you. All my rounds were timed under 60. I didn't know rebuttals used up the time. Ghast, what happened? You got to read the fine print, brother. No excuses. This is the Where Winning Matters tournament. That's all that matters. Winning, son. Come on. You gave a good battle, though. I enjoyed it thoroughly. It was great. Crash enjoyed it, too. He gave you the win.
I did.
I wasn't going to give you the win. I was going to heal on you, but Crash was like, Lorne, if you don't, I'm going to put you in a headlock and I'm not going to let you go. So I just, for fear of violence, I let Crash have his way.
Last is the homie, man. What can I say, bro? Like, no biasness, but I get my way. I get my way.
Where does it rank overall for the episode in terms of battles then? Was this higher up on your list out of the 4? Was this sort of the middle, or was it a little bit lower? In terms of your overall enjoyment.
I know which one I don't. I'm not going to, we'll go through I like this, but I'm not going to go through which one I think. I'd say second, maybe.
Okay.
Second.
I mean, I'll be honest. I'll be the heel in this situation. That's fine. I thought this was the third best battle of the day. If only because I think, A, we know both of them can do significantly better. I think both of them struggled a little bit with the formatting in the way that the other battlers didn't, because they probably had seen it and gotten the rep on it. And it's the first battle out of the gate. So, again, I feel like 2 of the other battles just overall delivered from the battlers and in terms of the presentation better than this one. And that's just my 2 cents on that. I think overall that's where I put it in the placement of who I enjoyed most on this particular event, or in this particular episode. Sorry.
Yeah, second. I'm gonna say second. Yeah, second. Close second, third. Yeah. But we'll say second.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough. We've got a comment from Stro as well. Best example of from Shuffle T and Marlowe, shut up dialect and Zen. I guess that's the schoolyard, like, shut up dialect
it's just,
and
again,
Zen. Like,
just shut up.
Schoolyard shit where it's just like, listen, you might be really, really good, but fuck you. Like, just instantly shut them up. I love it. And yeah, Ghast, that's oh fucking hell, I forget what the track is. Condensed Milk, I think, is the track. For those people that want to find out what this track is in the background that currently me and Crash can't hear because I'm not that good at my production. However, the other question I wanted to have for you, by the way, the interview segments, because they've released those separately. And I guess the idea is to introduce some of the guys that you've not seen or heard of. What did you make of the segments themselves? Do you like them? Do you find them interesting or informative to who you're about to see? Or do you not really vibe with them as much?
I think some characters play the role well, and then some don't, to be honest, bro. Like, some are interesting to watch, and then some, I don't know, it feels like it's part of the contract. Like we used to say, like, the face-off, I'm only here for the face-off because it's part of the battle, like, do you know what I mean? So it's like, I think they should make more of it, but I don't know, it's up to them, like, but I like it. I like a good post-interview, pre-interview, whichever one they...
I take that point, dude. And the thing I would say about that, and this is just something I would throw out there to people, is a lot of these guys aren't really comfortable in interview situations. These are guys that feel more comfortable on stage doing their thing, and then they want to wrap it. They don't really want to examine what they're about to do or why they're about to do it. They might not even have particularly well thought out reasons, but they're going to do it anyway. So while I appreciate the attempt, and I also appreciate the fact that they're trying to incorporate these things to say, hey, listen, we know you haven't heard of some of these guys, so let's introduce you. Let's sit them down. Let's explain some of who they're about and give you some kind of context about what you're about to see. Yeah, some of the guys are better at it than others, but I appreciate Prem's attempt by saying, listen, we know that you don't know some of these guys. Now you have the opportunity if you want it. If you don't, you just want to see them do their thing in the battle, cool. Hit fast forward, hit the battle, see what they do. Spirit's a good example of that, by the way. We're going to come to him in the next battle. I really enjoyed his interview for the fact that it wasn't a particularly good interview, if that makes sense. Like, he didn't say basically anything. And that made me go like, I like this guy. This guy's got something.
It sparks an interest, doesn't it? It's like a placid, how relaxed. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I liked it.
Cool. They've got another segment where they do the preview and the post wrap. But then we move on to McCoy and Spirit as the next battle. Impressions of the battle, my friend.
I think McCoy swept it. I think Spirit swept it. To be honest, it was nice because, like, in the interview, I was like, yeah, he ain't from the UK. What's he doing over here? And then he comes and he had like great like references, like McCoy's. He said, what did he say to McCoy? When McCoy is in the bag, he isn't crisp.
Mm.
And it's like, oh, I don't even know if you might got Lays over there, no? Like, I didn't know. I thought that was a British thing, but yeah, I wasn't too impressed with McCoy's performance, to be honest.
Mm.
But it was nice that he got a clear. I think he got through 3 rounds clean.
He did indeed. Yep. I would also think that you would give Spirit some credence. The third round, he opens with a Dragon Ball Z Spirit Bomb reference. Because,
bro, Spirit had, he had, bro, a couple of them every round, bro. He had the ghastly if I hit a lick. Oh my god. Oh my god, bro. Like, oh my god. What do you say? This bitch a bitch, like, or something like that. He was like, oh man, no, split the bitch. That's what he said. Split the bitch. Like, oh my god, bro. He was firing off there, and I liked it. He used his time wisely. I told you I watched it back earlier, and I think in one of the rounds, I think it might have been the first each, McCoy spat, I think overall about 6 punches in his time.
Mm.
Within 30 seconds, Spirit had done 8 of like punch, different, boom, boom, boom. And like, I could see Breeksy was enjoying, like the crowd were enjoying it, man.
Mm.
Maybe it was because of the different accent, or it was just like, you don't expect it off this kid, but it was fire. It was fire.
I would definitely concede that Spirit was definitely the more condensed and the more direct of the two. I think he didn't waste any time with any meaningful setups apart from in the third round when he built to the Spirit Bomb reference for a moment. But otherwise,
take it from me. Oh my god, yeah, take it from me. That was fire. That was crazy.
And it was great. And I think, again, the mystique of him from the interview into the performance, because again, that kind of translated, like, he was consistent from when he was on camera just talking about himself to then, like, just going and being, again, very just tactful. Like, he was not there to waste any time. He was on it from the jump. And yeah, like I say, I think McCoy performed as cleanly as he's performed. I think he had some great moments. I feel like he popped the crowd a couple of times. He had a couple of good lines. But again, in the context of the tournament's all about how many hits can you get in, how cohesive can you make it, how much content can you pack in. And there isn't a debate. Spirit was just on it from the jump. He was just... He was like this ball of energy that was, where's this kid come from? He was just that sort of out the gate, like, where has this kid been hiding, and surprised everybody.
You know what? It's like you get that breath of, it's refreshing. Boom. What's this? It's new again. Okay. Yeah, go on. It's a different style. It's like laid back, like, you know what I mean? He looks a bit nerdy. He got fire nerd references type shit, like, and it's banging off, like, it's working.
Do you have a particular moment in the... I'm assuming it was it the Spirit Bomb reference, or was there another moment in the battle that really kind of caught your attention as far as Spirit is concerned? Or was it more the overall performance?
It was the ghastly if I hit a lick. Bro, that's crazy, bro. That's crazy to me. That shit was cold, man. He was my favorite of the day. That's my battle of the day, man.
Interesting.
That's my battle of the day, man. Give him the pop, man.
Interesting, because he was the replacement for, I believe, his friend Beyond. So it was one that I hadn't previewed before the tournament. So he was a complete unknown to me when I checked him out. Yeah, it's obvious. It's a surprise for everyone. And again, that's what I like about this tournament concept is, where's this kid come from? Like, he's just come out of nowhere. And again, for you, Battle of the Night.
I do rate the not Battle of the Night, Battler of the Night, not Battle of the Night. No. Battler. Do you know what? It would be number one because he was that good and I enjoyed it. That was my number one battle, but it wasn't because of McCoy, I'd like to say.
Okay, fair enough. Well, like I say,
I liked in the Bobby was highlighting the fact that McCoy had more experience and he felt like the Spirit did better.
No, that's fair. The judging segments as well, I forgot to mention. So after every battle, they're cut into 3 pre-picked judges. These are all people, if you're not into battle rap. Oh, sorry, Ghast has corrected me there. Beyond is still in it. Spirit replaced Rude Boy. Sorry, Ghast, you're quite right. My apologies.
Yeah, and that's where McCoy lost his about 20 seconds. Saying like, I had bars from Rude Boy
Yes,
that no one's
did,
gonna
yes.
see. And it's like, well, thanks for that information, bro. Thanks for that. What do we do with that?
I mean, is that just a hangover from the previous iteration of do you think like some of the guys really are going to need are some of these first battles going to need to be that thing of, guys, we're in a new setting, you can't, there's no getting away with that anymore.
New rules. It's new rules, of course. Yeah, it's new rules. It's different habitat to adapt to.
Okay.
And some of the I don't know, maybe because McCoy's used to the normal kind of free roam mode of battle rap, of having that time and that space, and Spirit's come in. I think someone said Spirit may have had spaces battles prior to this. That again, you've got a couple of 1 minute, 2 minute, you're just wrapping off punches. Maybe he had the upper hand because he didn't have these rules and restrictions of knowing what it was like to rap for 3 minutes or long, giving a performance. So he just got straight to it. Bam, bam, bam.
That is good. What do you make of the judging segments? Because I think the idea of cutting to them immediately after the battle to give their appraisal, to give a temperature of the water, as it were, and to obviously give fans that don't normally spend time judging battles, they like what they like, or they don't really have, and the judges have broken down exactly why they did what they did. What did you make of those?
Yeah, that's where I want to see it, to be honest. That's where I want to see it at the end of the battle. When the battle's finishing and you're wrapping it up in your own head, that was a body. That was close. Which round do I? They're talking about it. Do you know what I mean? You're listening to people talk about it and getting their opinions of what they liked and didn't like, and it's the perfect place for it to go. I think the judges did a good job as well. I got no complaints on the judges.
No, I agree. I feel like Cool had an interesting moment in one of the segments coming up, but we'll touch on that when we get to it. But then we had the intermission segment, this 10-minute period where they were doing the sponsor, and then when we came back to another studio segment, they were talking up Hamill prior to the battle. They were talking about a lot of his upside. Stro was actually very praiseful with him, but they were also giving it to B.Ramble as well by saying, look, she's a bit of an unknown quality, but when we've seen her, she's produced. And then they hit the battle, so that was then Hamill versus B.Ramble. What were your impressions of this one?
I hadn't really seen B.Ramble too much before this battle, but she was good. She was entertaining. She, again, had a character. It wasn't so much about what her name was. It was about that character that comes across on camera, and she stayed true to her, like taking the LGBT band and then dishing it out again. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's battle rap. That's how it's meant to be. I'm a find stuff that's offensive, and I'm gonna find some rhyme words. I'm giving it back to you, and whatever you say to me, hopefully I can rebuttal it. And yeah, I thought Hamill was good. I think I've seen better Hamills, but again, new environment. But I liked the battle overall. Wasn't my favorite battle of the night, but yeah, like I don't think any of these like what's this? I don't watch football, man. Like the beginning stages of the tournament are gonna be their best. I feel like everyone's still adapting to the new pitch. I'm still gonna reference it to football though. I played FIFA. Come on, like, do you know what I mean? But yeah, like they're still adapting to the new shoes, the new pitch. Like, do you know what I mean? Finding their feet. So yeah, I'm more excited for the next rounds of when people start getting cut and stuff. Is that what they're doing? Cutting people?
So they'll move through to brackets once the groups are established, and then there'll be quarterfinals, semi-finals, final, depending on who finishes where, first and second.
Would it be top two of each bracket?
Correct. Yeah. So
cool.
Top one will face the second one of another group, and the eliminations will occur from there. But as far as the battle itself is concerned, so first was on B.Ramble from the jump. I'd note that she's the first battler of the night that seems more intent on dressing her opponent directly rather than sort of playing to the peanut, which I appreciate because, like you said, her energy, her demeanor, the way she projects is just a little bit different from everybody else's, and I like that. A fun line, shuffle LGBT. I thought that was funny. She also timed it out well. She's probably the first battler of the night that really timed the minute pretty damn close. I think she finished at 103, something like that, whereas everyone else had gone to sort of 110, something like that. But Hamill, like, right back. Lots of LGBTQ stuff from the jump. There's a Cypress Hill line in there. He likes to go to the doesn't finish the line well a lot. You know what I mean? So I'm going to hit you in the sack, and then we're going to go back to anyway. You know, he likes to go to that well a lot, but I think that's so useful.
You know what I'm going to say, but I guess in this environment it works.
It brings the audience in immediately. It just sucks them in, man.
Yeah.
And it works. I think there's nothing wrong with that because, again, it's so childish. I'm not even going to finish my sentence because all of these people are going to finish it for me. It instantly must put you in a position of, fuck, they really are on his side, aren't they? And yet all he did was skip a word. It's such an effective tactic. You know what I mean?
Saves a couple seconds as well, bro. Imagine they were doing that for every line. Like, you just assume they knew your last bar. Like,
There's a line in there from Hamill about a Kindle, and she flips it, which I thought was great. It's like being attacked by a H&M mannequin. I thought that was pretty funny. And then lots of stuff about him loving to smoke weed. That got the biggest rise out of pretty much anybody the entire night. Just like everyone, like, yeah. They said he would love to go to Dubai to get stoned to death. And then finishes with an analogy of him being an egg and cress sandwich who's extra wet. And then she's a double cheddar sandwich stacked high, something like that. Hamill claps back. Being a thorn in her side. Her favorite drug is Bristol meth.
Again, it's just petty jokes. Like, what?
Who is she? Scruffy looking Luna she. Close but no cigar. And he timed his second round actually pretty well. I gave that round to Hamill just because, again, he was so relentless with it. That was the round I think he executed everything perfectly. The crowd work, his direction, his execution of lines. I think his jokes were on point. Really, really good. Third round, B.Ramble fixates on him being boring, that cycling would be his personality, and intimates that he used 2-on-2 as a way to hide in the early stages of his career. I thought that was probably the weakest round of the three for her. Yeah. The first round was a bit more. But then Hamill comes out with the UK BR is dead to some, but not to him. He can make BR death a reality to her like a VR headset. I thought that was pretty good. That was pretty sick. What was the the acute angle is the only time he cuts corners, and he's in and out of the pocket like Terence Crawford. I thought that was, again, sad now that he's retired, but you know, it is what it is. Now you're not feeling the boxing reference?
No, I did like it. I'm screw facing. That's my good face. That's a good screw face, man. Don't worry, I got different ones.
But yeah, I thought this was a closer battle than almost any other on the card or on the episode. You can tell I'm used to talking about cards and nights. I apologize for those references because we're talking about an episode here. But ultimately,
it's a new format for us. We're booting up as well. It's a new format for us, new pitch for us as well. Do you know what I'm saying?
We're working it out, man. We're working it out. But ultimately, I gave it to Hamill. I thought you could make the argument maybe for a 3-0, but I gave it as a 2-1 because, I thought B.Ramble was consistently good throughout the battle to maybe warrant getting one of the rounds. But it is impossible to look through how talented, funny, well executed, he's such a wise performer for his years. He's so young yet performs to the level of someone who's infinitely more experienced than him. I feel
like the term 3-0 is so harsh, isn't it? Because you hear
it is. You're saying 3-0. You didn't get anything,
and you feel like they got, but it's like, nah, he just edged you ever so slightly in every round to my favor, but you didn't lose. Like, he didn't body you, he didn't embarrass you. But like you said, I rate B.Ramble for taking the directive approach, and I feel like a lot of them should copy. Don't worry, but just get to the fight. We've come to see a scrap.
No, totally agree. And I think Gemini was actually one of the judges on this segment, and he was very complimentary of both of them. He said he really enjoyed the battle and he gave it to Hamill, but at the same time, really enjoyed B.Ramble stuff. I like that, by the way. If nothing else about the judging segments, it really gives an opportunity for guys who have got a lot of appeal in the scene to give a bit of the rub, a bit of the shine to guys who otherwise wouldn't be in the conversation with those same. Again, Gemini, champion. Bizzo, champion. You know what I mean? Like it's a good thing to give to those guys, if that makes sense. And then we've got the last battle, but the last segment in. This is probably one of the longer running segments where Bobby and Shotty and Stro are talking, because they kind of fix out on the fact that this battle here, the next one, Caveman versus Frost, is basically against two guys that have got plenty of track record, plenty of experience. And they're really looking forward to seeing both of them like, right, Caveman's got to tighten up his stuff. Frost has got to stick the landing. You know, the question marks about Frost's ability to be able to get his stuff out and get it out clean. Caveman, questions about whether or not he can tighten up his style, because he's got a very relaxed style. I thought that made for an interesting debate. What did you make of this battle in particular?
Quote me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure I've heard of this battle before, so I wasn't sure if it was a rematch. Come to find out, I think it was meant to happen, and it just didn't. So, but because I was like, yo, swear I've heard of this battle before. This battle makes so much sense. Why hasn't it happened already? But yeah, I think you're right. The question around Frost is, what Frost are we getting? And like, he's main event Frost. We love main event Frost. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, please, can we have some main event Frost? Pause. And then you've got Caveman, who again, his style is the end. He's a rapper, don't get me wrong. He's very good at rap. But he also has that entertainment side. They both have. That's why they're so good to watch. So it's like, what are we going to get with a condensed 1 minute version of that? That was all that was playing on my mind. It's like, that's why I said before, I don't think I could do like a minute round. It's a bit. As soon as you start cooking, it's over. Like, do you know what I mean? As soon as you get into your little flow state, it's over. The round's over. You're getting cool time on. But I think they did well. They did very well.
Stro has interjected that this battle was the Academy North final, so that's probably why it sticks in the back of your mind. So there you go.
Okay.
So there you go. So it's not like these guys. So these guys are very well experienced in that case. And the interview with Frost, I thought, was a little interesting because they didn't do a follow up with Caveman. I'm sure there's a practical reason for that. I would say though that Frost is someone that we didn't necessarily need the interview with, because I feel like his interview was more endemic of his on. I think the interviews are interesting and helpful when you're talking to someone that comes across on stage differently to how they are in person. I think some of these guys, though, Frost is an example of this, whose off-stage personality mirrors his on-stage personality. So you were kind of seeing more of the same thing anyway. But it was interesting having a 4-minute segment to go, right, why are you in the tournament? What are you aiming to do? What are you this, that, or the other? Because, again, it helps build hype for the battle, which then kicked off. Bit of a mishap here in the edit where in the room, Briggsy is introducing them and then says, right, first round on Caveman, and then we cut to Frost. So again, there's some teething problems here on everyone's side. It's fine. We're working through it, but Frost kicks off. Frost's first round was quite self-aggrandizing. I don't know what you make of that when battlers spend probably more or less 50% of the time on themselves as much as their opponent. How much of that carries weight with you? Like, how clever does it have to be, or how original does it have to be for your focus to be on you rather than your opponent, but still be a fire round?
I think he gets away with it for us because that's very much always been his style as well, and it's kind of like he's not like with Mccoy. It was just kind of talking about like the what was his name, Bad Boy, Rude Boy battle. I didn't even know that was a replacement, so that meant nothing to me. Whereas this is just Frost reintroducing himself to maybe a new platform and a new audience and being like, this is what you're gonna kind of get, like, because Frost does rap about himself quite, and it's his style and it works for him. I didn't mind it. I think he gets away with it, but maybe as an experienced battler who's watched Frost for some years, I might give him leeway to say someone that isn't as new or as known. But I feel like Frost is gonna do that. He's gonna use a lot of his time to give you a little ego talk because that's his style. He likes to flex on guys.
No, you're not wrong. And I'm not saying that he spent an inordinate amount of time. I only remarked on it because he was the first person all episode to do that. Like a lot of the guys were using time to just either fire jokes or do insults. Frost is the first person to really rep himself. Then he cuts through to... and then he makes... again, I make notes on the things that really speak to me. I made notes. Everything he has can get battered like a northern chippy. He's mid-20s and looks like he's 50. And he can't make anything fire from that worn-out stick because Caveman. I thought he did well to build the crescendo of the round to his favor. I felt like, again, setting up the table for who he is and what he's going to do and then leaning into his opponent is a good tactic. But then Caveman comes back. And I think in terms of style, the one person you don't want to come up against is someone like Caveman, who's so fluid and lucid and fucking impervious to insult because he just doesn't register it. And I felt like that first round was the best contest of the two because it was the most full and frank of the two being themselves. Like that moment, I feel like that sold you the battle one way or the other. What do you think?
Yeah, man, I'm not gonna lie. I had to rewind the event at this point because you know Caveman's hair, bro. Bro, how many haircuts did he have? You know when you're like looking at something, you're like, yeah, okay, and you notice it, and you're like, oh, that's a bit weird. You're like, whoa, wait, there's a ponytail, there's some pink in it. What is going on?
Very, very stylish man, my friend.
That is Caveman. I've met Caveman a few times, and he is just just that guy, and it comes through in his bars again. Like you said, you can say whatever you want to Caveman. He's still gonna have a laugh and a joke and just invite you out for a pint after. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, he's just a nice guy. But I enjoyed the battle. Very much.
His response round in the first was sets up with you can get that second hand like a charity shop. Your catchphrase is Frost never lost, but you've lost literally every battle I've ever seen you do. He's peaked, references that. Doing up Gillette, the best a man can get as the peak line. And the word, I don't know why this caught me off guard. Booty crease. Like, you just threw that out there, you little booty crease. Like,
little booty crease.
Where did that come from?
Schoolyard booty crease. That's crazy.
Where is that, Caveman? Like, where did that come from? Random as shit. But that... I really do feel like that set the table because, again, Frost comes back with, again, a very solid round. And I felt like the second round for Frost didn't have a lot of in-room reaction because people were fixated on him. Like, he got into that flow state where he's just going, right? And the crowd are just fucking fully invested in Frost in this moment because they know if he sticks the landing, the content of the round is immaterial. They're watching and investing in Frost as the performer in that moment. And he nailed it from bookend to bookend, right? And it put me in, again, I know you don't watch wrestling, but he gives me MJF vibes. He's someone that naturally portrays himself as somewhat villainous. He's a bit likes to get under your skin type demeanor. He likes to annoy you. He likes to really aggravate you. But he's so good at it and so entertaining at it that you can't help but continue to watch because you want to see what he's going to do next. You want to see what he's going to say next. And I think that coupled with the execution, because he did everything. He didn't stumble. He got all his stuff out nice and clean. He timed it really, really well. I think that really lent itself really well to this battle. And that's ultimately why I think the battle was judged in his favor. But I liked Caveman's next round had my favorite line of the night. Caveman doesn't like anything about Frost. He reminds him of Triple H in 1999 because he doesn't watch wrestling.
Yeah, because I love that because you know when he starts the bar
sick.
And it's like and I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna get this now. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck Triple H did in 1999. He's like, I don't watch wrestling. I'm like, yes, that's well done, well
Absolutely
executed,
amazing. And then he goes petty, so he goes really like childish, like. I heard you got kicked out of a sex dungeon for chest bumping. Lots of absurdist stuff like dreadlocking his nipple hair in the fucking village or something like that. That was an interesting one because, again, Frost didn't have much in the way of reaction, but he was probably more... Like, there was probably more content in his round. And, again, if we're judging it based on content than outright reaction, because, again, we're not supposed to be, then you can make the argument one way or the other. Frost third, you look like you smell, and you smell how you look. Lots of hobo bars. Something about his shoes being attached to his feet by his feet. Makes people... Yeah,
The
well,
thing is, again, like as an audience member, you look at Caveman, you see him three different trims, and you're like I'm not saying you're a hobo, bro, but I'm saying your aesthetic like, is going for it, and it just gets that laugh out of you. It's like, oh Jesus Christ.
there's lots of hippie bars in there as well. The line that stood out for me was he makes music for people who do cat off a Charlie spoon, which I was like,
Jesus Christ.
interesting. Okay, and then
That's a bub. That's a bub laugh.
and then Caveman fires back with, "You look like you're about to be lined up to be slapped about like a Turkish barber. You're soft and small like a pret-a-manger or pret-a-manger, I think he called it.
No, what do you call it? Yeah, pret-a-manger.
Something like that, pret-a-manger or something like that." And I was like, "Wow, that is a very northern way to say a southern thing." But yeah, who did you give this battle to, and how did you score it?
I gave it. So like, I watched all these battles, and I was like, I'm watching them as a battle rapper first and foremost, like bar wise, like how they use their time. But I'm also watching it as a new fan, and it's like, out of this battle, which character am I looking to see most as a fan? I want to know what Caveman's gonna do next. I want to see what the next person's gonna say to Cave. But overall, as a rapper, and like if I was a judge, I gotta give it to Frost. Overall.
This is it, and this is where I come in. I felt that while Frost's delivery and his cadence was very, very good, in fact, it's probably one of the better Frost. I saw Frost battle back-to-back one week. I saw him battle at a No Loose Chat event, and then I saw him battle at a Prem event within a week, okay? And you saw the sort of the scope of what he's capable of. I felt like he lost at No Loose Chat, but then absolutely dominated at Prem. And that was, again, in the space of... And he didn't really vary much in terms of his performance. It can be sometimes how it lands on the night, but then you've got fate and anything else that's working against you. But I felt like in this battle, he gave as good a performance as I've ever seen him give. But I also saw Caveman do the thing that we all wanted him to. I felt like Caveman tightened up his style, made it quotable, made it impactful. I thought he was fairly economical. He wasn't quite as tight as Frost, that's granted. But in my mind, battle rap should also be what is memorable. It shouldn't just be how much can I fit into the time. It's how much good stuff can I fit into the time. How much stuff can I leave an impression on an audience with. And I felt like Caveman did more, especially in in the second and third rounds than Frost did. And I think the debatable round for me would be the second round. Do you give it to Caveman for the Triple H line, the quotable stuff, or do you give it to Frost because of how perfectly he timed and executed that round? That's my take anyway.
Yeah, I feel a two-way either way. A 2-1 either way is the fairest thing to say. If this wasn't in a tournament setting, both of them can walk away and say, yeah, I won that. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, my style is more Frost type, like, you know what I mean? But again, it's entertainment, and this is where battle rap comes to opinions. Like, I don't take anything away from Caveman, but like, I don't think I could ask, like you said, the expectation on Frost was, are we going to get a clean performance? Not his best, if that makes sense. Whereas, like, he did that on the brief. Whereas Caveman, like you said, it could have been a bit tighter, and if it was, and Frost was a little less cleaner, could have gone the other way. But see what happens next week, kids, isn't it?
Who has the most upside to you? Having seen all four of these battles now, you've mentioned that you want to see what Caveman does next. He's a character, he's a performer you like to see. But who are you most interested, though, to see? Because I feel like Spirit is the one that people are going to walk away from this episode and go, I had no expectations on this guy. And now I do. I do kind of want to see what he does against his next opponent. I do want to see if he can evolve and adapt and improve as we go. But is there anyone for you that you're like, this person, maybe not because I thought they're going to kill it or because I think they're going to go all the way, but I'm intrigued. I want to see what happens next.
I want to see a villainous Frost, like you said, innit? I want to see Frost go up against someone that like wants to, like, I know they all really want to win because this is where winning matters, but like, I want to see Frost become like a Yannick Frost. Do you know what I mean? Like when he battled me, like he is like just not even like a bad guy, just a dickhead. Like, do you know what I mean? Like proper bomb on someone completely. Spirit again. After hearing what you've just said about people with eyes on Spirit, he might be at a bit of a disadvantage as everyone else had something that they could work on. I feel like Spirit's hit my expectation where I now need to see better now. I want to see what's better. I want to see level up as well. So it's like there's an expectation where if he doesn't do as good as this battle, were you just a one-shot kid or are you here to stay? I'd like to see where B.Ramble goes. I want to see Mccoy. I want to see everyone in it. This is everyone's first tester match. Do you know what I mean? Everyone's shaking some rust off and getting ready to the new format. So let's see where everyone goes. I want to see Mccoy get better. Do you know what I mean? I want to see Cave get that win. Who else we got? Mccoy, B.Ramble, Hamill. I want to see Hamill smoke. So I want to see everyone smoke everyone. I just like violence. I'm here for violence. Here for riot and violence.
Well, before I wrap up this episode with my final thoughts, I want to turn it to this coming Sunday because, as I mentioned at the top, this episode is out of sequence. We will be going live on Mondays at 9 o'clock as a wrap-up to the Sunday show every single week going forwards, and you're going to see a bit more of a tighter profile on our side as well. That's all on me. I apologize again, but I want to turn it to this Sunday because I want to preview it at the very least, but we will focus most of our attention on wrapping it. But this Sunday coming, dropping at 8 o'clock, they're going to be doing an interview segment at the beginning from 8 till 8:15. But then they kick off with the first battle of the night, which is a very interesting one, I feel like. Because again, we've got two young men who have got two very strong narratives coming into the tournament. In Red Wolf, who I interviewed actually prior to the tournament starting with his thoughts on battle rap in general, the scene in general. He's clearly got a fire into him to kind of make a point and prove himself. With Dub T, who, again, is another young man with seemingly a lot to prove. What do you make of that battle? What are you expecting from that battle?
This is a tough battle for Red Wolf, you know. I feel like this is a tough battle for Red Wolf. And you know what? Shout out Prem. I don't know if it's the camera angle, but Dub T paws look fucking huge, bruv. It didn't look fair. But, I'm looking forward to this. I'm going off predictions. I'm going to have Dub T winning. Yeah, I'm just going to leave it like that, man. How you feel? If you had to pick a winner from this week, just how you feel?
Yeah, I'm torn. I feel like Dub T has the wind in his sails. I feel like he improves battle to battle. But the thing with it is, and this is what I'm not sure about yet, is the critique on Red Wolf has been, you're trying too hard, you're taking too long, you're trying to be too complicated and trying to be too clever. I think it all hinges on whether or not Red Wolf is prepared to adapt. I think Dub T's trajectory has just been sort of dependent on his ability to improve within himself. Red Wolf's is going to be whether or not he's prepared to adapt to an audience as opposed to trying to dictate to them almost. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like maybe part of his adversity in the scene in more recent times is he's trying to tell them what they like rather than deliver what they like. And I think a big part of his performance in this tournament is going to be that, I get it, as a performer, you want to do your thing. You want to perform your way. I get it. But it's the audience that dictates the pace, my friend. You've got to, at some point, you've got to give them what they want. That's going to be the question mark for me. I think on the face of it, I'm with you. I give it to Dub T because I think he's got enough experience to be able to navigate an opponent like Red Wolf. But if Red Wolf is prepared to turn his attention, he's a very clever, very well traveled opponent.
He has great flow as well. Like, do you know what I mean?
100%.
He do have a flow. One of his critiques was, because it's such a long battle, you say way too many words. Like, do you know what I mean? But this, in a 60-second environment, could work to his advantage. He has the capability of machine gun, Gatling gun flow. But let's hope that them bullets are packed. Do you know what I mean? Like, let's not hope you're not wasting just saying sentences to say sentences. Like, I want to hear punch, 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 punch. Like, do you know what I mean?
100%. I think the thing that with Red Wolf that always puts a caveat to any criticism he gets, he's a very good live performer. He's also a very talented musician and singer. So the performing side of things, he's always had down. In fact, he's probably got a leg up on most of his competitors in that sense. But it's his perception sometimes that gets in his way. But that's something you can change. It's not something that you have to stick with. So not that I'm saying that I'm steadfast in saying Red Wolf is not going to beat Dub T in this situation, because obviously we don't know. I'm just saying, though, that one's an interesting battle because both of them have a lot to prove. And it is going to be almost, right, which of you wants it more? Because you're both talented. You're both so talented. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear it. I think Red Wolf needs to. I liked what you said about dictating to the crowd of why we don't like him. I just want to see Red Wolf beat him up himself. Like, do you know what I mean? I want to see I don't want to see Red Wolf talk to us. Talk directly to Dub T and chop that guy down like woof, woof, like, do you know what I mean?
1000%. Cool. We will then be moving, and they've also given us the times as well, which is very handy. 25 minutes later at 20 to 9, the second battle of the night. Only 3 battles on this card because of a dropout, but on the second battle of the night, Bison Briggs, host and indeed co-owner of the fucking league, is going to be making an appearance versus one Dojo. Dojo has not been shy about letting everyone know 7 days prep. So this is all up in the air because both of these guys are going to be coming in with shortened prep time. You've got the untamed experience of Bison Briggs, who's been literally everywhere, literally done it all, versus Dojo, who is, listen, he's got some reps, he's got some battles under his belt, but significantly less experienced. And apparently, by the way, Briggsy stepped in on 3 days' notice, apparently. Sorry, my apologies, according to Stro. Bison Briggs versus Dojo. Give me your thoughts.
Fair play. I didn't know that. I saw the clip at the end of the last episode, and I didn't know that there was like late prep. That's quite. Oof. I just hope they make it through all 3 rounds. I haven't heard anything about this, but again, like you said, it's not usually after a rap battle event. You get your waxes, you get your, you know what I'm saying, the shorties going, yo, this guy's dope. Do you know what I mean? We got none of that, man. So I don't know anything about this. So I hope they all made it through. Dojo's a very cold character, man. When I battled Hulk, I was with Tech, and Dojo came out as well. And like we were going through our rounds, and Dojo weren't even battling on the card. But every time we finished our round, Dojo would battle it. Dojo's battle IQ is very, very, very good, man. But Briggsy's experience of who Briggsy's faced, yeah, it'd be nice to see him in a fully prepped match. But if we're going, what I think, if I had to put money down, I'm gonna bet on Dojo, man, because he had a little longer, even though he didn't have much longer. And I've seen some shaky braces. I've seen some shaky Briggsies before. And less prep's hard. Less prep is hard, especially when you're the boss man as well. Not only are you rapping, you got to make sure everyone's at their stations. You got staff, but you still got jobs. You still at work. Everyone finishes a battle, start drinking. Briggsy's still working, live streaming, doing all of that. So yeah, I think if I had to pick a winner, it'd have to be Dojo, just on the sheer fact we had a few more times, and I know what he's capable of writing in a short amount of time.
In a weird way, I'm inclined to agree. I was wrestling with this as you were talking, and while conventional wisdom would let you, Briggsy's just done so many battles, and he has such a wealth of experience to be able to draw upon to be able to navigate a 60-second round. Dojo, for me, gave one of the performances of the night on a checkpoint card that included Lunacy, Enigma, and a number of others that you go. And Dojo is the one that I remember more clearly and more fondly. Like, that's how talented Dojo can be. I think Dojo's biggest impediment to his progression in this tournament is when I saw him against Frost, he was almost trying to be too clever. He was almost, there was stuff he'd written that clearly he was very proud of, but just didn't resonate with the crowd. And on a rewatch, that's not a problem. So again, in this sort of situation, maybe that translates really, really well to an online audience as opposed to an in-crowd thing. But also, I think sometimes he can be guilty of not laying in the punch hard enough. Sometimes this stuff it's clever, but it lacks real impact. Briggsy, on the other hand, knows what is going to elicit a reaction from a crowd. He knows how hard a punch needs to be at certain points. So that experience versus that raw talent is really what we're talking about here. But I would still give the edge to Dojo. I think this is a closer one than people think.
If it was fully prepped, I'm not going to lie, if it was fully, like, they were both fully prepped and had enough time, like the same amount of time, probably give it to Briggsy because of what you just said. But yeah, with it being, do you know what I mean? Not saying Dojo don't have stress in his life, but with the event and organizing, that plays a factor in your mind of like, there's probably a little corner of Briggsy's brain when he's rapping. He's like, yo, that camera better be on, man. Like, do you know what I mean? I know I've got stuff, but can't. I just want to check.
I have no idea what that's like.
fully prepped. I would have given it to Briggs. But for what we're doing in the tournament now, I'm finding out the information. I get to Dojo, man.
Gotcha. And then the final battle on this particular episode is airing at 9:05, and that is, I would say, a return of sorts, because I certainly haven't seen a battle of his in a while. Bowski versus Sam Essay. So this is full on, legitimate. I mean, you could call him a legend. He's been around for long enough to be able to...
Rookies versus vets, man.
100%. And then you got Sam Essay. This is an opportunity for him to rub shoulders with sort of an established name in the scene. What do you make of this battle?
I like it because I've seen a few battles of Sam Essay, and he's good, man. He does his thing, man. I haven't watched too much, but yeah, from what I've seen, he's good. Bowski is one of them characters where you know you're going to get an entertaining Bowski, man. Like, Bowski's an entertainer, he's a comedian, he's a rapper. Like, he don't take himself too seriously. Bowski been around for a long time. He knows he's been in this battle before. Do you know what I mean? For Sam, could be a bit of a challenge to try and attack Bowski differently. Do you know what I mean? Bowski's had many opponents, so trying to find something, a new way to insult him could be difficult. But then it could also work in his favor for us, or like I say, us, the fans online, that maybe you're not too, this is your first battle rap, so you're not into the lore and that. Yeah, you just want to hear him get called fat or something like that. Do you know what I mean? So I'm gonna have Bowski. Bowski don't let me down, man.
I'm with you. I think this is a really tough battle for someone like Sam, because I watched Bowski versus Crow in my prep for the Where Winning Matters tournament when I was doing the Contender series, and didn't really have much in the way of expectation, because Bowski had been away for a period, so I thought, okay, maybe he's going to be a bit rusty, maybe the crowd's not going to get him, maybe it's a different era thing. Within the first round, Crow went first and gave a decent account of himself, and then Bowski started and completely won the room over. And it wasn't the most intricate stuff. It wasn't even the most clever stuff, but the way he resonated with an audience, and it clicked immediately. They were all chuckling in the aisles, and it completely won them over. And it was an uphill battle for Crow from then. That's the kind of caliber of opponent Sam Essay is not used to facing. Even against talented people, you can't account for the guy that can walk into a room and make everyone smile with wink and a nudge and slight little offhand comments and the way he carries himself. It's going to be a real test for him. I would give it to Bowski on that basis, but I wouldn't be surprised for him to be like, right, I've got a hill to climb. Because again, the whole point of this tournament is to give guys like Sam an opportunity against guys like Bowski and say, listen, you want bigger names. You want different names. Here they are. Sink or swim. Go after it, man.
Bowski gets a rep for being a great entertainer, but I've watched battles for a long time. Bowski has got that dog in him as well. He can bark on people. Like, I've seen it, and it's different as well. When the funny guy starts getting angry, the room changes. How does the room change? Like, whoa, we were just having jokes like 2 minutes ago, and now you're trying to kill me. Okay, I like that. So yeah, I hope to see a good Bowski. and I hope Sam makes the most of it. And in my opinion, it's Dabowski. But as long as he has a good performance against Bowski again, there's no reason that you shouldn't get another good name, another big name.
There you go. Final thoughts on the first episode then before we turn our attention on Monday to the episode 2. Final thoughts on anything that you think that you're excited to see going forwards, or that you're just looking forward to seeing week in, week out for the next 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks, however long this run's going to last. Final thoughts, man. Give it to me. Give it to the audience.
My final thought, let's do some. I'm a film guy, innit? So I'm a game guy. So I'm an out of 10 guy. So let's out of 10 some stuff, innit? Production, I'll give it a nice 8 out of 10. Wasn't perfect, but it was lovely to see something as refreshing. Like, do you know what I mean? Work it out, get to the 10. But yeah, I'll give it 8 out of 10 for now. It was the first one. Hopefully throughout, we get better and better. Like, there's always room for improvement. Battles wise, might have to give them a 7 out of 10. A little bit lower. I expected some, like, the battlers to do better, to be honest. Like, do you know what I mean? You're meant to set the standard for the first round, and I feel like everyone in their own way, bar my boy Spirit, but my boy Spirit had things they could improve on. Hosting wise, I enjoyed it. I give them man 10. Them man made it enjoyable, all of them. Judges wise, I give them like a 9. They should have had Crash. It would have been a 10. I'm happy with it. You know, I'm happy with it. I'm very happy with the standard they set from episode 1. I look forward to episode 2 and the rest of the tournament, to be honest.
I'm inclined to agree. I think I'd give them a 9 out of 10 for the editing and production. There are a couple of things that I noticed, but I produced and edited my own show for a year and a half, so you get used to spotting like, shit, that's there and that shouldn't be there. I thought on the whole, for an hour and a half production, and again they would have made these in advance, so there's all of these there's so many moving parts and components that they've had to put together. There's so many different segments they've had to film. There's so many different things that they've tried to collate, and then they've timed it all out for us that at home, so that when we tune in, we know what we're seeing and when. I think it's a Herculean effort, so I'd be a little bit more generous. But on the whole, I'm in agreement. I think it's a fantastic jumping off point. It promises a lot, delivers a lot. There's enough potential left in the tank. There's enough great matchups still left. There's so many twists and turns the narrative can make. And now we know what we're in for in terms of the ebb and flow of the show. I'm just looking forward to sitting on my chair on Sunday, tuning in, hitting play, and just, right, let's tuck into some battles, man. You know what I mean?
I feel like, yeah, it's made it into the rota, like, do you know what I mean? For the week, don't holler me Sunday, bro. You know what I'm doing. You know what I'm doing. I might text you, but yeah, you know what I'm doing. Do
you know what? This is 100% true, and I'm sorry, buddy, if you're watching this. A friend of mine messaged me he's like, what are you doing Sunday night? Like, why? I'm like, we should go to the nearby pub and go and watch the American football together. I'm like, can't. Like, why? Premier Battles episode 2's airs on Sunday. Like, can you not skip? Can I skip it? Are you for?
Pardon me.
Pardon me. Pardon me.
What, you want me to watch
monsieur?
rewatch?
No.
And it is one of them things. Like, I don't want to read about this on Twitter and not being able to watch the episode. Like, I don't want to see the spoilers. I want to watch the episode.
1000%. So, I think we're I mean, look, like I say, I've got 1,000 other things that I noticed, but I think we've covered all the salient points. I think the question I have for you, and I'll ask you this live, so if anyone else is watching that would like to see this, do you think we should showcase some of these battles, not in their entirety, but do you think we should be showcasing some of the moments on these live streams? Should we be cutting to those and maybe sampling a little bit live, or do you think we should keep it more of a chat? Should we invite some people on? Because we do have the open format of the Zoom call. If anyone else wants to hop in on these, there's always space in the Zoom call to be able to get the live takes from some of the battlers, maybe some of the stuff I've seen Stro in the chat the whole time. What do you want to see on next week's episode of this show?
Yeah, Stro's making sure I don't say nothing I'm out of pocket and jump out the window, which I've been known to do. So I don't blame him. Ghast probably too, do you know what I mean? They're like, yo, we need to put someone in there. Nah. Yeah, man. Do you know what it is as well? I like the battle rounds of 1 minute. So we're not sitting there for ages. You know what I mean? It's 1 minute. So it's not it's digestible, very digestible, and yeah, I don't know if you meant like what live on the show, have the clip ready to go, or
I'm thinking, man. So I downloaded the whole show. Okay, I have it all downloaded, ready to go in case we need to reference anything. I'm thinking though, I'm thinking we highlight. I think we summarize. I think we pick out some cherry moments, some highlights of the piece, and then redirect people back to the video. So I'm thinking like, hey, maybe we pick a round each. Like this was my round of the episode.
That's what I was going to suggest. A round each. Like, you know what I mean? Mine this week would have been Spirit. Like, I'm watching that again when I jump off. I'm smoking. I'm not going to lie.
I've just seen there's a comment here from Stro that makes me think, oh yeah, he's scary now. He's gone, get Rick to deal with Crash if he's out of pocket. And it's like,
hey man,
oh yeah,
hey,
Rick
man.
Charles can deadlift a car now, can't he? Oh fuck,
yeah. I tell you what, I tell you what, I fought Rick at the right time. I fought Rick at the right time, you know.
Oh my days.
Like now, whoa.
He's fine if you can just like. I feel like Rick is the kind of person that now, yes, he can lift a lot and he might be able to hit. But if you can just move just a foot and a half backwards, the overextension alone would be enough to tip him over because he's got to be so top heavy by this point. He's just all shoulders and lats. You know what I mean? No calves.
I would not risk it.
No leg action.
There's a percentage, and the way the luck works in this world is I'm gonna get hit. I'm gonna get hit. So I'd rather not risk it anymore, man.
Oh my days. Okay. Okay, yeah, I've just wow, they've got Rick as an enforcer now. I take back anything negative I said about Premier Battles Where Winning Matters episode. It was a flawlessly executed and wonderfully filmed show, and no one needs to hurt me. Anyways, that's Rick Charles
man.
dealt with.
What is Rick in the chat? Is Rick in the chat?
He does. Is Stro shouting him out by saying, "Hey, listen, if anyone's out of pocket,
man,
Rick will be
cool, man. Rick will
be
cool. Stro's cool."
But yeah, man. So I think what we'll do next week on Monday, live, 9 p.m., we will both be here. I will make sure this is a lot cleaner. You've noticed that my fucking video quality has been terrible. We're going to upgrade the hardware, upgrade everything to make a little slicker. This gentleman will be on his laptop, so he'll work some magical wonders to make him look even more handsome than he already is. I'll still look like shit, sorry. But we'll be going live.
Don't do that, man.
We're fine. They've got eyes. We'll be going live on Monday at 9 o'clock. We will be showcasing and recapping episode 2 of the Where Winning Matters tournament, the battles that we've just highlighted. And again, we'll pick out some favorite rounds. We'll pick out some favorite moments. And yeah, we're going to have some fun. So I had fun. This was good recapping this. We've gone over my limit of an hour by about 40 minutes. But who gives a fuck? It's the inaugural edition. We're making it up as we go along. I want to say thanks to...
We're working it out.
We are. I want to say thanks to you, first of all, for agreeing to co-host. You're a gentleman and an absolutely top bloke. I want to say thank you to Stro in the chat, Ghast in the chat. I'm not sure we had anyone else pop up today, but that's absolutely fine. There have been people watching this that haven't commented. Please be sure to leave your comments, questions, suggestions as we go. I like to highlight those as we go. I like to make sure we give shout outs. I like to make sure we hear from you. And again, last little invitation that I'll throw out there and I'll reiterate in the coming days on Twitter and on social media, however I can get a hold of you. Battlers, I know you're under embargo for the upcoming battles, but you are no longer under embargo for these ones, my friends. So please feel free to come on, talk to me and Crash about the battles, about the day, the filming process, all of these things that you can now talk about now that we've seen them. We want to hear from you as well. We want to give the fans something a little bit extra on the back end of your battle. But that was an experience, Crash. That was an experience.
That was our episode 1. They just had their episode 1. We just had our episode 1, man.
We're back up to speed. Is there anything you want to shout out? Anyone you want to preview? Anything? Social medias, plugs, things of that nature while we've got you?
Follow me on Instagram at Simply Crash. Everything else is I'm a crash out. Shout out my homie Ripper. Shout out my homie T-Rev. Shout out No Loose Chat. Shout out Prem. I enjoyed it. Big up. Shout out you. You know what I'm saying? Shout out you. Yeah, no, I ain't done shout outs in a while, man. I ain't shouting no shout out everyone, Shout out everyone. Shout out you for watching. Shout out you for watching. You thought I forgot. Silly.
I love it.
Nah, man. Big up, man.
There it is. Yeah, thanks again to Premier Battles for putting on an ace event, an ace event show episode. God damn it.
Oh.
Thanks a lot for putting the show onto them. Thanks a lot for Stro for joining us. Yeah, be sure to tune in next week, 9 o'clock on this channel for the wrap up. But before you do that, make sure you are tuning in at 8 p.m. live on Sunday on the Premier Battles YouTube channel. Before that, though, feel free to go and peruse their Patreon, because, of course, their Patreon is going to have additional content. It's going to have previews of some of these upcoming battles. It's going to have stuff outside of it. And it's also the place to go to find out updates about upcoming events, about upcoming battles that might be teetering now that the episodes are starting to release. So if you want to get in the ground level, the Patreon's the place to be. But until you do all of that, from me and from Crash, this has been the Halcyon Show. I've been your host, Lorne, and we will see you next week, Monday at 9 p.m. for the next installment of the Halcyon Show.
Nice, man. Nice. My Ray-Ban glasses went 15% like 20 minutes ago, and I was like, okay, and it just went 5%. Charge soon, and I was like, we're signing out. We're signing out.